So today, my guest is Grayson with First Light Home Care. And great to have you, Grayson. Thank you for coming out today.
Well, thanks for the invite, Tom. I'm looking forward to having a chat with.
Sounds good. So, what do you do? What does your company do?
That's a good question because home care is defined by, it seems like everyone in a different way. So, the best way to define what First Light does is 95% of seniors want to grow old in their own home. So, they want to stay there and maintain their dignity and their independence. And what First Light does is First Light goes in to the house and helps these people that want to stay at home. We try to take care of them for as long as we can. For instance, people may need to stay, want to be at home, but they need help with hygiene, with feeding, running errands, getting up and walking, doing things. And that's exactly what we do. We'll send in a nursing aide to go into the house and help them accomplish those things, then their goals are met, which is to stay at home and maintain their independence.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. I've seen the majority of people that I work with, I do a lot of downsizing. They would definitely prefer to live in their own home, even if it's moving from a bigger home to a smaller home. Their first preference is live in a home that's theirs and still have that independence.
Exactly. And that's what we see. Unfortunately, Tom, I mentioned 95% of seniors want to age in their own home. Uh, Unfortunately, when it comes to being able to do that, a lot of seniors are hindered because of the cost staying at home. Uh, because we don't do medical procedures like physical therapy or occupational therapy, things like that, Medicare and Medicaid do not pay for home care expenses. So there's primarily three ways. One way is through a long term care
Okay.
insurance, and they're very expensive, but the folks that have purchased them and keep up with them, they're well worth it when the time comes. Number two is out of pocket. So this would be people. Most of these people have some assets and have some money stored up, or they got a son or a daughter that can help pay for it. And then the third way, which is getting more and more popular, is through the Veterans Administration.
Okay.
And we have probably take care of about 50 to 60 veterans right now. One of the largest veterans providers of care, and it's a lot of fun. We've met, and I've had a chance to meet World War II uh, folks, Vietnam, Desert Storm, you name it, and it's been a lot of fun meeting them and also taking care of them.
Yeah. So, do you cover Brevard County, or is it a larger geographic location for you?
You've got it right. I covered just Brevard, all 734,000 people here.
Wow. So, how many clients does your company?
We run around 120 to 140
Okay.
clients is what we have, and we've been blessed, over the almost 12 years that we've been here in Brevard. We've been able to grow from really just myself and my wife to having about 132 caregivers out
Wow.
in the field, and we've got 11 staff members here in Suntree.
So, so the caregivers, are they 1099s or W-2s? They work for your company or they're subcontractors?
I wish everybody would ask me this question because it's a question that gets overlooked, and it can also be something that can really come back and affect your assets, affects your savings. And that there are two types of home care companies. There's what we call a nurse registry, Tom,
Mm.
and what they do is they have no employees. They subcontract with all their caregivers to a 1099. Then there is a licensed home care agency, of which First Light Home Care is. Um, we hire all of our caregivers. We provide all their insurances, liability, workman's comp, bonding. On the nurse registry side, they don't get those insurances and they're not provided to them. And because of the expense, those nursing aides don't normally purchase them.
Yeah.
So that's just one area. There's a couple other areas of big difference on our side. That is the agency side. We have a nurse that helps develop a plan of care, and she is responsible for supervising the plan of care. Again, on the nurse registry side, we don't see that. They're not permitted to have somebody that's overseeing going into the house and overseeing the care. So when it comes to really protecting your assets
Mm.
and to making sure you're getting the best quality of care with the best outcomes, uh, I love for people to use First Light, but first step I like to see is that they use an agency. And if it's not us, as other agencies here in Brevard that could be trusted and do a good job. When you go with a registry, there's too many questions pop up
Yeah.
and can come back and sting you.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a lot of employees then that work with your operations. So are you always on the lookout for new caregivers to grow the team? And
And yes, we are. Yes, we are. And that is probably our biggest challenge. The turnover rate is high in this industry.
yeah,
First Light, fortunately, has been able to perform much better than the rest of the industry when you look at the data. And one of the reasons is uh, we try to catch our caregivers doing something right instead of always you know, complaining about issues.
yeah.
We try to find them doing something right and reward them. But we've been able to put together some benefits that have encouraged them to join our company, then to stay with our company. And that is an expense, but we found that that expense is worth it
Yeah.
because it just takes weeks and weeks to bring somebody on, bring them through orientation, train them the First Light way, the right way.
Yeah.
So, but we are in a constant hiring, orientation, training mode.
Okay. So if somebody was interested in this as a career, what kind of qualities are you looking for and what kind of schedule does?
Yeah, well, when it comes to qualities, there's two things that I've always looked at, and that is will and skill.
Okay.
Okay. Um, I, you first of all, without it, you have to have the will to do something like this. Not a whole lot of glamour when it comes to helping someone with hygiene, dressing someone, doing things just like that. So you need that empathy and that passion to want to care for
Hmm.
caregivers or for care for elders, and that is the most important thing, which is the will. Um, then the next step is the skill.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is just learning certain principles for people that may be bedbound, and how to make sure you're taking care of their skin integrity, making sure they're sitting up correctly when you're feeding them. There's just little things you need to learn about each patient to take proper care. That's what's beautiful, again, with having a nurse, because a nurse goes in before the case starts, and we uh, write down everything that needs to be done to keep the client happy. And the client, and usually the client's family, is part of that
Right.
plan building. And but it's first of all having the will or the passion, and then the skill. If they have the will, we can most of the
Right.
time teach them the skill, and we have a dedicated individual that is in our office, but is able to go outside our office into any case. If the caregiver is having an issue with something, some difficulty with something, we have somebody that goes out and straightens that.
Okay. So question that has popped into my mind is what's the ratio of a male to female that work for you?
That's a great question. I think I mentioned about
Mm.
132
Yeah,
caregivers. We have four male
that's what I was
caregivers.
thinking.
And what happens is there are some people, um, most people are going to be fine with a female caregiver, but there's some people that are dead set on having a male caregiver, and so our male caregivers get their hours. They're not usually looking around for extra hours.
Okay.
They're getting their hours, and so but just four right now is
Interesting.
always
So the
that.
male patients are the ones that for the male caregiver? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
no, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got some
Interesting.
males
I
that
can see.
just
Okay.
for confidentiality or whatever privacy reasons,
Yeah.
they want a male. So the males are under great need.
Demand.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So their schedule, is it 9 to 5 a week schedule? Is it throughout the whole day? Or what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Most caregivers are looking for 40 hours a week, and they're looking for those longer shifts. So ideally, 9 to 5, 8, 8 to whatever, 8 to 4, 8 to 4:30. But we provide 24/7 care.
Yeah.
And some people need care later in the evening. Some need it overnight for safety reasons
Yep.
and things like that. So our goal is when we're interviewing and hiring folks is to find out what hours they have available and try to put them. We have a great software that puts our caregivers in the hours that they're available, puts their zip code down, and when it comes time, we can search for the right person and the right zip. So we have a group of caregivers that are solely focused on overnight. That's all they'll do is
Right.
overnight. We have LPN ladies that are in LPN and RN school. I got a gentleman in RN school too that they like the night shifts because then they can get some studying done in the middle of the night if they need to do that, and it works out a win-win for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a way for somebody to stay in their own home longer when they realize that they need a little extra help. Is this also a little bit of a reprise for um, spouse that's a caregiver that's kind of doesn't have the energy to take care of everything any longer?
Y- Yeah, it is, and we call that respite care.
Yeah.
And over the years now, I guess I've been around long enough in the home care business. I've seen spouses or brothers or sisters taking care of a loved one. I've seen them actually get sick and seriously ill because they get run down,
Yeah.
and that's what we're seeing a lot of is you want to take it on yourself. No one no one can take as good care of my wife
Yeah.
than I think I can. But eventually, you're going to hit the wall,
Yeah.
and we do provide that respite care and give the wife, the husband, a break so they get away, get some air and some free time.
That I think in my dealings with seniors, and I've worked a lot with seniors since I uh, joined Golden Providers. I'm working with downsizing. I think there's this moment where people have to come to the realization that they need some help and admitting that it's not working and I truly need help. What does that look like? Do you experience those conversations with people who are just starting to realize that I just can't really stay safely at home?
I do when we have that conversation. It's not always easy, but the number one thing I try to focus on when I'm talking to a homeowner at home or the children of a mom or a dad is safety.
Yeah.
Is mom and dad are they safe at home? Okay, have they had any falls at all? So are they forgetful that they could leave a stove on or something like that? So we want to flesh out the safety issue. That's our number one issue uh, for sure. And then it sort of goes in, how are they doing with hygiene? Are they keeping themselves clean and
Yeah.
dry? Um, are they eating properly? Are they staying hydrated? So I sort of have a pecking order of things that I go
Mhm.
down, and I simply just ask them questions. How are you doing with that? How's Dad? Eating? What is? what does the food look like in his refrigerator? Are things expiring? And what does that look like? So there's quite a few good questions to trigger thoughts, but the number one reason that we uh, uh, should be hired and brought into a house is because there's a safety issue. That's
Yeah.
we should be.
Yeah. So for a lot of people, it sounds like getting the assistance at home is basically, the need, and it's a up against the alternative of going into an assisted living facility. So what would you say are the pros and cons of those two options? And your option being one.
Yeah, I think with the staying at home all by yourself, you do maintain that your own integrity and dignity because you're in a familiar place that's been called home, usually for quite some time. Okay, and um, you can if with the caregiver there, you can sort of come and go. You don't have to sign out, don't have to sign in, and you've got that freedom. But there are some advantages to an assisted living facility as well. Um, there, you're taken care of. So if you have a medical issue, either you can run out to it, or they have a doctor comes around. Uh, all of your meals are already planned, and you
Yeah.
get those meals.
Yeah.
Some of the places will provide help with laundry, so
Yeah.
you've got that taken care of. So it's a lot. It's maybe less work to go into a facility. They're doing going to do it for you, and that's what you're paying them to
Right.
do is take
Right.
care of them.
Got it. Yeah. So there's things that are now you mentioned laundry, you mentioned so your staff doesn't do the laundry. They don't do uh they don't do cleaning, they don't do food, or what do they?
Yeah, and I may have confused things. No, we will grocery shop and we do and prepare meals.
Oh, you prepare
Yeah.
meals.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We
great.
do the
Yeah.
meal thing. I always say to the clients, now you're not going to get a chef style meal
Right.
here, but the basic soup and sandwich or burger, something like that.
Okay.
Uh, and then when it comes to the laundry, that is part of the package that we
Okay.
have.
So you do
It's
that.
not an
Wow.
add-on. It's doing their laundry for them. So we do provide that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's is so what are the pieces that they might need that are not typically included? Is it like anything medical that not included with the average?
That's exactly right. That's what I thought of immediately when you said that. We cannot administer medicine,
Okay.
and that many times becomes an issue with families because they have somebody who's forgetful and is not remembering when to take the medicine and whenever. And we're allowed to remind them
Okay.
to take the medicine, put the medicine in front of them, but they have got to administer the medicine themselves.
Right.
So that's one of the things. And other things that we can't do are the medical things. We can encourage them to do exercises and different things, but we can't do physical therapy and
Right.
occupational therapy or speech therapy. That's left up to a home healthcare company.
Okay.
All right.
So that's something that they could hire an additional support to do things. If,
Yeah, they could, and that's exactly when we see that our job and the nurse's job. When we see a person who fallen a couple times, arms are all missing skin and different things like that, uh, we get involved. We don't stand by. We get involved and we'll say, "It looks like your dad would benefit from getting some physical therapy, and let's strengthen his legs or his arms." Having trouble swallowing or speaking, let's get somebody in here to help him with the swallowing and some therapy. So we take an active role in that. Uh, just we want to be a part of helping them make every senior decision they need to make. If they want help, we're there to make recommendations.
so what is it that you like the most about this in this job?
I like it. One of the things that I really like is when a family member calls, and I just had one. I need you to take care of our mother-in-law. Remember, you took care of my mother and my father-in-law. Now know, and now I've got a mother-in-law that needs help. So I love repeat
Yeah.
business. People that are telling me what you did met our expectations. You provide quality care. We want to invite you back into our house and have you take care of this. That's something that makes me proud when it
Mhm.
happens.
That means a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what would you say is the part that you like least about this?
The most difficult thing is is keeping enough caregivers. And when I say caregivers, we could have 200 caregivers if we wanted. I just we hire good caregivers. We try to hire tough, and we try to hire good caregivers. But that is always the thing that can be our rate limiting factor.
Yeah.
And the way you go about that is we never say no to any business.
Right.
So we'll actually let the caregivers work overtime if we need it, just to keep the business to make sure our clients are getting good care.
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, you want to try to knock down your overtime as much as
Yeah.
possible and provide good caregivers for those 40 hours that they're able to be out in the field.
Yeah. So you are, I asked that as a question. So you're in a relationship with these clients sometimes as they approach the end of life. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We actually have a group of caregivers that are specially taught in palliative, hospice, and end of life care. So we can go through with them for a year or two or three, which we have, and then as they age and get more ill, less able to have, less able to function well, many times we'll stay with them and we'll help a family out. Sometimes it may be overnight when a client is getting out of bed, but they shouldn't be because their legs aren't strong enough, and so we'll stay there overnight and keep
Yeah.
and then that person, the wife or the husband, can sleep and not get worn. So we'll take care of them from the time they need us uh, in the house to keep them safe all the way till end of life.
I certainly can see the need for what you do. No question about that. Do you feel like this is an industry that's on the increase, that greater need type of support?
A matter of fact, I read an article from McKnight's. They're a publisher for Senior Care Mag, and they said people at the age of 80, that number is going to grow in just 7 years. Okay. And that's about the age, 80, 82 is about the age when we get called.
Yeah.
That's the average age. So, this is a business, if you were looking to get in, to start a new business, the senior care business is where it's at. And we're fortunate enough to be in Florida,
Yeah.
which many seniors decide to come down here, retire, and stay.
Yeah.
So yeah, this business is growing uh, from perspective of hours that have are being provided by all home care companies. They're up about 18% this year compared to last year. The
Wow.
business has grown.
That's, I can see that absolutely. Our county, I think the average age of our county continued of the population has increased.
Yes,
We have more and more.
absolutely.
So private individual, if they're watching this interview and realizes, you know what, I might need to talk to some company, how would they get a hold of you guys?
Um, our phone number is 321 221 7099. But
Okay.
I'd like you to take a look at our website because that'll show you what our mission, vision, and value are, a little bit more about the company, how we go about making sure you're going to get great care. And that would be simply First Light Home Care of Melbourne. Google that, and our webpage will come up, and there you'll get all the information. And just give us a call. And from the time you call to the time we start services, we'll hold your hand. We'll walk you through every step of the way.
First Light Home Care of Melbourne.
Right. You got it.
Okay, well, there you have it. Well, thank you so much for coming out today. I found it very interesting. Hopefully, the viewers found it interesting, and I look forward to seeing.
Well, Tom, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.